Hello, everybody, and I guess this is the first sort of look into what is actually happening with the FM playoffs and wasted possession. Obviously, the news broke out this just past Sunday, so me and Mozza thought we were going to take a little bit of time, explain to you and anyone else who's interested in what is actually happening here. What is happening here, I suppose. So you're joined with me and Mozza. Mozza, how are you doing, mate?
I feel very Vic and Bob here. I'm just meant to go like, hello. Um, I am good, my friend. I'm good, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Quite excited because obviously we've had this secret for a few weeks now. Really, I think 3.5 weeks ago, maybe shortly after the last playoffs, we kind of got together. It might actually no, it was immediately. It was that
It was
evening, I think.
that night of the. It was the
Yeah.
Sunday of the last playoffs that this all basically happened. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, we've been working for the past 4 weeks, just to see what's going to happen, get everything together, bring both sides across for this merge, and obviously we were able to announce it on Sunday, and now we're going to go forward with it. But we just wanted to again take a little bit of time to explain to you exactly what is going on.
so here we are. And well, if you have seen the playoff stream already, or seen all the Twitters, wasted possession Twitter as well, you'll know. Long story short, both tournaments are merging together. And one of the questions that we got, that I think we'll cover first because it makes sense, from Wayne's World was, but basically, why? What's the story? Why did this happen? Kind of what's the theory behind it? And what's the reason and where we going with it? So, long story short, we've got to a point now where when we were getting started, wasted possession was just a bit before the playoffs. But at that time, there were very few community PvP tournaments in FM, and we're now at the stage where there are loads and loads. So it's it is open for anyone to get involved with, which is great, and that's basically why we both started. But it kind of feels like we need someone to step it up a level and to make things not just enjoyable for the people taking part, but also for people watching, and to get um, a level up. So we've got all these different people and all these different competitions separated, but now the two of us have been friendly anyway, and everyone that works in waste possession in the playoffs have had a bit of crossover, as is. You've seen us in each other's panels, punditry, all that kind of thing. So we got a bit of chatting, and we need to begrudgingly give some credit to the doctor here, Benji himself, who basically sat us in a call together and said, "Why haven't you done this yet?" We kind of thought, "Well, I don't know why we haven't done it yet," but yeah, here we are, and I will let Ali obviously chip in with his thoughts, and then we'll go from there as to what the plan is.
I mean, it just made sense. Like when we started wasted possession, there wasn't anything anyone could take part in that was anything like this the streamer showdown essentially, and we started it in order to give the opportunity, and we didn't really level that up until like season 3, but it's always been the like priority and goal to give people the best opportunity that they can to sort of showcase themselves, which is why we've always had a mix of people who are at the top of the community, maybe doing it full time, and we've given opportunities to people who have not even hit affiliate yet. And for me, this merge was what was needed in order to give the best opportunity for everyone within the community. It's funny that you mentioned Ben, because we had this initial conversation in September of last
Mhm.
year, about him thinking that's where we should be sort of going. And I'd thought for a long time before I'd have that conversation with Ben that I always envisioned that we'd kind of get to a point where we'd done everything we could on our own, and when we'd be looking for that next step, that's when it would happen. Because again, we've always had a good relationship with each other, and it's hard to gauge when necessarily that is. And it just so happened, and it just so fell on the time that it did, I suppose.
Mhm.
And so with the merger, it was basically the mindset of doing it is to just enhance the experience that people can have. Working harder with more people, combining all the resources that we have in order to have something that obviously we're not at a showdown level yet, but we wanted to give that sort of feel available to sort of everybody, with the amount of people that we have in each tournament, and just let people have that experience essentially, and do that sort of thing for the community. I think it's something that will really benefit the community in the sort of long run. And I guess that gives an indication of sort of the plan is we do plan on still having as many people involved from, like, say, the waste of possession side of things. We had 20 plus people involved. We still want that sort of thing going forward season to season. I think a lot of people, as you said earlier on, kind of alluded to, it could appear as though it's a FM playoffs takeover of wasted possession. That's not what's happening. It's a full merger, and with that merger, there's going to be a whole lot of structural changes. The seasons are going to look very different, which I'm sure we're going to get into, and it's just going to hopefully change the whole game up and put us in a really good position to provide some really, really good content for creator and viewer.
Yeah, that's really important. The fact that, despite the fact that it's still going under the playoffs name and the branding's still very similar, just a bit updated and kind of smoothed out, this is a merger. Myself and Ali are jointly running this thing now. So it's really important people realise that, and it's not just the guys behind wasted possession going, oh, we're just going to fold in. That's not what's happened here. And when we get to the new structure, it will become apparent that we've made the best of both tournaments come together. I'm really excited to see how this is going to be taken by you guys. I genuinely think it could be just so much fun, every single part of it. And every single one will have 20 plus people involved with the way the numbers work out. So again, we're still committing to giving everyone an opportunity. There are now going to be minimum standards, so we need to say that, because in order for us to raise the level to a place where we want it to be more professional, but at the same time we are still a community tournament. And like, I know it's been a bit of a gimmick for the playoffs to call ourselves the premier community tournament, whatever, but that's generally what we aim to be. And now I don't see the reason why we can't call ourselves that with what we've got planned and the way we are going. The issue we had on the playoff side was it felt like we had more to give. We just had that kind of one long weekend. We've kind of dabbled a little bit recently in putting a qualifier in the Tuesday, for example, to try and spread it out, but it just felt like we had so much open time that we could be making more use of. But that's why our wasted possession has been really good and what they've done. But the flip side of wasted possession was it felt like it went on a long time, and it was quite hard to work out when seasons ended and started sometimes. So I think we've now fixed both of those issues with the plan we've come with.
I think it's key to mention when we talk about raising standards. I want to specify that's not reflected of views and
No.
followers. When we say standards, we mean how does your camera look? How does your stream setup look? What's the lighting like? What's your microphone quality? Having all of these at a level where, if somebody was to come on to your stream, it would look like it's viewable in a way. I don't want to sound harsh when I'm saying some things, because I know maybe not everyone has like the resources for what we're necessarily saying at face value, but it's just a case of when we've got this show to run, we want to show it in the best light possible, and with that will come these sort of standards. And anyone curious about the standards, what their current system looks like or any of that, like, my DMs are open, and I'm sure Moz is the same.
Yeah.
Like, drop us a message. We're more than willing to help, because we need the community in order to make this sort of thing work. But yeah, like, those standards are purely sort of the viewing experience. It's not anything to do with how many people you get into a stream, how many followers you have. Like I said, the wasted possession, we had people who weren't even hit an affiliate. If you tick these technical boxes, let's say, and you're not an affiliate, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be involved when the opportunity and time comes. And then from the wasted possessions perspective about the issue, with us, it was sort of the long seasons didn't help with bringing people in to help behind the scenes, and there was a lot of workload on myself, Stick Piano, Alice, and Owen in that final season, and myself in previous seasons, in order to get that done. And I think with this merge, I can put that effort in with a team of right now, and it's going to get bigger, around about 11, 12 people. Um, and when you factor in all of that time, all of that effort, you can see how the quality can improve when you have those resources. And I think for me, the things that the playoffs weren't doing very well weren't the things that wasted possession weren't doing well, like, and vice versa. So if we put the two together, all of a sudden you've plugged those holes that needed plugging, and I'm sure there'll be other things that we'll look to improve on in the future and other things that'll arise. But in terms of at that base level, we're even before we've done anything, we're in a far better position now than either competition will have been in either competition's history.
Bang on, yeah. So, put it this way: minimum when we say standards, we're talking if we go into your stream and you're entertaining, you've got a camera so we can see your face and we can hear you clearly, you're going to get considered. Simple as
Yeah.
that. So we want it to be entertaining to watch for the whole tournament as well as to be taking part in. And I know some people might disagree with this, but we've basically said, look, we need to have cameras on the guys. We need to, people need to see what you look like
Yeah.
to get right into it. And we get your face shots anyway for the announcements and all that kind of stuff. You've seen them coming out recently. Again, they are going to be upgraded big time because if you think our graphics were decent, wasted possessions graphics were decent, suddenly we've got both of them together. So I expect advances, not just in terms of the shows we're doing, the kind of presentation of that, but also graphically and everything as well. I'm really excited to see what we could manage to do here. And just before we move on, when Ali said we're probably going to grow, let us know if you want to be part of it. Be it
Yeah.
behind the scenes, be it maybe getting a pundit show on one of the shows or whatever. We are very, very keen to get more people involved and more hands on deck because even if you come to us and say, look, I think your Twitter's not great, I think I can do this or that, tell us. We'll get you in. You know, there's whatever your strengths are. And if you want to get involved, even if you want to get involved with us with to have you maybe stepping up to the showdown in future, for example, or you want to develop skills for other reasons, like you want to get into social media management, let us know. We'll be more than happy to get you in if you're willing to give us a hand and give us some of your time. We're not going to ask for loads of time. We've all got real jobs. So
Yeah.
we're not going to be unreasonable about it. It just makes light work for everyone when there's more hands available.
100%. And now, just to give you a bit of a scope, and I guess it's a good caveat, just to give you a scope of what it is we're doing and why we will need new hands essentially, and we will need people who are keen and enthusiastic to come in. The new format of the FM playoffs, that it will be a 4-week season. This hasn't been 100% nailed down yet, but it's like 99% sure this is the way we're going. Unless there's any late drastic changes, this is probably at the time of recording.
We'll just cut this out of the video if anything changes. Right?
Yeah, exactly. We have 2 sort of qualifying groups and 1 finals. So there will be very much in Wasted Possession Challenger League and how the playoffs have brought these current qualifiers in. There will be week 1, for example. You'll have the qualifying draft on one day and you'll play the games on another. And so from that group of 8 that participate in there, 4 will then go on to play in the finals, and that's the same with group 2. So already we've got 16 people involved. 4 and 4 go through. Perhaps there'll be perks if you finish higher. We've got other stuff that we need to iron out, but this is just kind of like the base level of what's going to happen. And then week 3 is a break week. And then on that 4th week, we will have basically what your normal playoffs is, 12 people being involved in that sort of week, draft on one day, games on the other, to crown the current champion. Now, obviously, the maths isn't quite adding up. We've got 4 from one, 4 from the other. That will be involved. That'll involve sort of invitations back from the previous competition, whether it's people winning or finalists. And also the sort of invites, because it's important. It's important to sort of branch out towards people who are at the top end of the community, have them come in. And I think I know people might think that's sort of special treatment for the guys who are bigger than others, but I think from wasted possession, the main benefit that I could see taken away from the participant perspective was having people who are new to the community, small in the community. All of a sudden, you're potentially drafting against Omega Luke, who's doing something full time. You're potentially drafting against McKinsey, who's doing really well. And like last season, you potentially were drafting against Dr. Benji. And like I don't know where else you're gonna get that experience, really. And let me know if there is another way of getting that. But I can't, like, that sort of thing is incredibly vital, and I think the benefits of that really do come through for both the people at the top, having that view of who is in and around the community, people to keep an eye on for potential other things that are happening, and the people who are sort of new in the community, starting out, or not as sort of numbers big, having those interactions, having those, like if you're playing against Omega Luke, Dr. Benji in a game, it's just you two in that call for that full game. Like that experience is, for me, vital for people to sort of get in.
Yeah, so like the easiest way I can kind of break it down is think of the fourth week, so the actual kind of big finals tournament, as the playoffs enhanced. It'll be the same format. It'll be the same kind of style that everyone knows already. So you have your draft on a Thursday, you have your drafts and crafts with Tony on a Friday with the beers out, you'll have your games on a Sunday, the same kind of two groups, 6 people each group, progressing through to quarters, semis, and then eventually the final. What will change is what those people are rewarded with, because it used to be that only semi-finalists managed to get an invite back. We've now, this is still to be rubber stamped, but we're now tweaking that. So because it's going to be a longer tournament, and basically there's going to be a kind of qualifying route into it, anyone who gets a knockout spot will get an invite back of some description. Quarterfinalists and semi-finalists will get an invite back to one of the two qualifying, the path to the playoffs. You might have seen the kind of new waste possession coloured logo, so that's what we'll use for the two qualifiers. And the finalists will get an automatic invite back to the finals the next time round to try and defend their honour, not just because I was a finalist. As some people have been trying to tell me. But yeah, so as far as the two invitees go, we're not just going to be looking at people that are big on Twitch or big on YouTube. We'll also be looking at potential other people that are well known to like Football Manager as well. Ian McIntosh appeared on the playoffs a couple of editions ago, had a great time. Everyone loved interacting with him. It just made something different for the tournament. And the way I see it is, the job of the playoffs initially and the job of wasted possession initially was not just to give opportunities to creators, it was also to help network. And we're in such a good place now in this FM community where people didn't used to talk to each other properly. You had little cliques that didn't really know each other, and we're beginning to break that away. It feels like with all these tournaments and the PvP, people talking to each other, getting to know each other, it's, as Daljit said the other day, I don't think the community's been in such a good position at any point. And tournaments like this will hopefully help to improve that even further. And we'll see who we get in for invites. Potentially we won't use both invite spots every time. We might just get a best loser from the path to the playoffs, for example. So somebody finishes fifth but on goal difference might find their way into the finals because they might deserve it. So there's flexibility there. But the long story short is both qualifiers will be a league. There'll be 8 teams. Top 4 go through. Bottom 4 don't, essentially.
Yeah.
And to give you a taste of what is involved in the actual playoffs, it will be a draft on one night and it will be games the other night. We're looking at potentially a Tuesday, then a Friday for the first one, a Monday, then a Thursday for the other one. So different dates to suit different people. If you can't make one, you'll hopefully be able to make the other, and vice versa. And you will have that gap between that warm-up tournament and the playoffs. So hopefully that makes it a bit more accommodating as well. You don't need to worry about 4 dates over 2 weeks and just cramming everything in. We've kind of thought that side of things through as well. So I am very, very excited about it because not only is it going to let us get a lot of people involved with it, it's also going to get a lot of people able to have a go at punditry, able to have a go at hosting things, because not only are the qualifiers a chance for new heads to come in, new faces to come in on the playing side, also on the background side, and also on the live streams and the punditry side. So we are committing every time to have somebody new in there as well to give them a chance. And I hope that that's the spirit that people will see it in. So it is almost a wasted possession influence on the merger now that we've got that nice kind of intro to the tournament 4 weeks as it will be. And then when we get into the playoffs, we'll ramp up the stakes a little bit. We're leaning into the competitive side of things as well. Ranking points will be very, very important, as they have been recently in the playoffs. So the drafts will continue to be ranked. That'll be the same in the qualifiers as well, but to a lesser extent, it'll be of importance because the draft pools won't be as complex. They'll be a bit more kind of budget based rather than random player pool based, whereas the players will continue to be quite fun. With expect a lot more of those 5 pick restrictions because people like that. So I suspect I'll make a comeback at some point. Kind of themed pools for whatever time of year it is as well. We'll have fun with it. But overall, I hope, I expect, and I'm basically confident in saying that this will be an upgrade across the shop, not just for people taking part or being involved, but also for watching. And if you do have any thoughts, if you do have any ideas, any feedback, we're always welcome to it. So jump in the Discord, let us know your thoughts as well. If you want to get involved, DM us. Like the two of us are open to any conversations. And yeah, just in the comments below as well, let us know what you think. Let us know what you'd like to see as well. Can't guarantee that we can do everything that everyone wants because such is the nature of a new tournament. We need to get some kind of structure there. But I'm excited to see what you guys think after the first running of it, see what happens.
100%. I'm really excited. I think the format the Wasted Possession was running, whilst entertaining for participants, I'm not sure how sustainable it was. And I think a change was needed at the time anyway. And this was probably the best sort of change that I could have hoped for in that regard. So I'm really pleased with it. Again, it's not something that we've just thought, okay, F it, let's do it. We had me and Mozza. I know Mozza better than his missus knows him at this point. We've had
yeah,
so many.
She's not happy about that, by the
way. He tells me everything. He's we've had so many calls. We've had so many calls with the guys who are involved. And there's some really, really great people who are involved. Just think the people who are behind the playoffs, the people who are behind the Wasted Possession right now are all sort of together, and we're hoping to recruit more and just assert ourselves as the number one draft in terms of entertainment and accessibility for the people who want to get involved. And I think we have something really good to offer. And I hope this does start driving I hope this news starts driving other competitions in the FM space as well.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh, that's quite big. What can we do? What is it that we need to do now in order to close the gap? Because I think this will firmly put us sort of in a really good spot in terms of if you are a creator and you're aspiring to be in a draft competition, we know that the showdown is probably going to be at the top of everyone's list. But we want to be in that conversation when people are writing down goals for 2023 in 6 months' time, one of them will be featured on the FM playoffs. And I hope that sort of mindset from the content creators then drives other competitions to think about what they can do in order to level up their game as well. Really, I think it's a really exciting time, and yeah, I'm very, very keen for the next run to see and show everybody how good this can be.
We will be and we might as well be bold here, the number one community competitive draft in FM. That's the plan. While we have also made the commitment. So we've got a few things in a document I don't think will actually be shared because it's a private thing, but we've committed to 3 things on it. One of them is we will continue to give opportunities to everyone. So I know some people will be nervous about wasted possession merging in. It's not going to be as easy to get in. It's not going to be the case. Genuinely, it isn't. Like, we are open to any FM creator who is willing to give it a go and kind of help us out at the same time with making our lives easier.
Yeah.
So we're not asking for crazy things. Like we mentioned earlier on, as long as we can hear you clearly, as long as we can see you on stream, as long as your stream isn't cutting out every 2 seconds on the Wi-Fi, and as long as you want to get involved, that you need to kind of get on board with the spirit of it. That it's not just a competitive, serious thing where you don't talk to anyone. Like, people do want to watch it and enjoy themselves as well. So you're going to chat away with your opponents. Might be a bit of wind ups in there. We've seen it in the past. We'll see it in the future. Every so often there might be a bit of frayed tensions and so on, but take it in the manner that it should be taken, and you get your chance. And I think both competitions have shown with our track record how many people have been in them, what we're about, and that doesn't change.
If anything, you've got 2 competitions that were keen to give people opportunities, still keen to be giving people opportunities, and now coming together in order to give people opportunities and give them the best possible opportunities. Like, I know at face value, when things were announced, that is up in the air, but I'm hoping after hearing what we've said, those sort of nerves and questions are sort of put to rest. And yeah, I mean, we don't just need me and Mozza and everybody who's working in the back room to be on board. We need everyone who looks at the FM playoffs to be on board. And like, we can't run this sort of thing without the interest, without people wanting to take part. And I really want to see more of that. I've, like, since the merge was announced, it was really refreshing for me. Like, I've had no less than 8 people say, if you need a bit of help, mate, let me know. That's just me. I'm not even talking about the people that might DM Mozza, that might have DM'd anyone else who's working in the background. I'm saying anyone else because I don't want to name names and then forget someone. Um, but yeah, like, we've already seen how sort of much this competition can mean to people if it's done correctly, and we're going to be doing all we can to make sure that it is done correctly.
And we've gone for almost half an hour, so I think we'll round it up. But just before we do so, it'd be remiss of me not to say thank you to everyone who has been part of both tournaments up to this point, who have helped to make them what they are and what they've become. And because both of them have came from a place where things were basic to a place where I think they were getting towards a point where what else could we have done on our own? And this will be the catalyst to take another big step forward, and as Ali says, to hopefully drive standards up, because we forced each other to get better. As things were going on, the triple crown carry on, and their graphics are looking good. We need to get better at that, and so on and so forth. So now we're in a difficult position where we need to set standard for the rest of the community tournaments, and we're game for it. We're absolutely game for it. And if you want to be part of it, let us know.
Let us know. I remember when we were rivals, every time you did something, that I thought was good, I'd be like, what can I do now? Like, and just having that together, and I hope that translates to other people, but having those together and people wanting to be the best and wanting to sort of stand out, I hope it does. But yeah, again, from that wasted possession side, I mean, obviously, it has come to an end. And maybe when I put that tweet out on the wasted possession account, people didn't know what that necessarily meant. I knew this was coming, so it wasn't something that I knew would be unanswered for too long. But I hope there's clarity, and we are integrating a lot of those principles that wasted possession started on into here. And again, thank you to everyone that made wasted possession sort of what it was. We had a good run, but it was all the goal was always to do something great for the community. And when this came, that it was exactly what it was built on. So it made complete sense for it to happen.
The name might be gone, but believe me, it's still there.
The spirit
So
lives.
it lives on, and you'll see a lot in the way we run that will show both tournaments are still very much part of this. We've taken the best bits from both, and I can't wait to show you how it's going to go. So I think we'll round it off there without giving too much away. We've already given you the structure and so on. We will have an interest format very soon, probably by the end of this week. If you want to actually take part as a participant or potentially as a pundit or whatever, we'll give you options on there if you want to get involved in any way. In the meantime, DM us with any questions. But otherwise, thank you for spending half an hour with us, and we'll let you go on with. Adios.
See you later.